as you can see, I am back with another video. And in today's video, as you can see, we are doing another top 10 NBA video. So, as you can see from the title, we are going to be talking about the top 10 greatest scorers in NBA history, if you want to call them that. This is a very interesting list because there's many different ways you can interpret this. You can interpret this in points per game, in points scored over an entire career, in just how good they are as a scorer. There's many different ways you can do this. So, with that being said, yes, this is another list I found, but obviously you guys know I will be giving my own input, and making my own list after. So it just makes it more easier to lay down like ground rules when making this list and just having fun with it. I did a top 10 NBA defenders video. If you want to go check that out, I posted it a couple weeks ago, if I do remember, and that one I really enjoyed doing. So today I'm doing a top 10 scorers in NBA history, so it should be very, very, very fun. So if you like this video, make sure you like the video, and also obviously subscribe to the channel. I will very much appreciate it so much. And yeah, I think that's it. So I guess we can get started with the list. Okay, so starting off this list, let's make sure we put a title, obviously. Let's just go top 10, and then score. I think it's how you spell scores, right? Yeah, it is. Okay. Top 10 NBA scores, and going to number 10 on this list that was made back in 2020, so maybe it's not super up to date, but it's a very up to date one. In my opinion, it's actually a pretty controversial pick, because this guy, for a lot of people, might be the greatest scorer. Can definitely be argued that, but then again, not my list. You guys can argue it if you want to, or discuss it. But on this list, they have a very great player, already known as one of the greats. Obviously, definitely in our generation, but we have at number 10. Let me show you guys can see this. We already have the legend himself, Steph Curry. Wow, like I said, this was made in 2020, so I don't know if that year gap really makes that much of a difference, but that's very interesting. Obviously, Steph Curry being the greatest shooter of all time. 3 points is more than 2 points, and he's the best at making 3 points. Who knows, maybe that makes him more of a top 10 than what he's listed at. Spoiler alerts, in my opinion, I think it definitely does. Because not only is Steph Curry one of the greatest, shooters of all time, but he has great ball control. He's a great floor general, great leader. He does so much, but he's also this crazy scorer. It's absolutely insane how he does it. Also very consistently at every given night. It's very, very, very awesome to see that. Do I think he deserves to be on this list? Absolutely. Do I think he deserves to be higher on this list? Absolutely. Like I said, people can probably argue him being, the greatest scorer because he just changed the game entirely, like other great scorers did, like Wilt and Kareem and those type of guys. They changed the league. Steph Curry did that by himself as well with the three-point shooting. He has created sort of three-point frenzy now in the NBA. It's very interesting to see. Just a year ago, a professional writer put him at number 10. I don't necessarily himself, in Jerry West. Jerry West. Now, I know what you're thinking. They have Jerry West, ranked above Steph Curry in scoring, and I do know that Jerry West was an insane guard back in his day. His entire career, his 14-year career scoring average is 27. Absolutely insane for sure. He has many years of averaging, 30 points per game. He's put up 40 point per game averages before, putting up multiple 30, 40 point games where back in the day, 3-point shooting and all that jazz just wasn't a thing, you know what I mean? And he was doing that on a very consistent basis. So, man, it's so interesting when comparing these two guys. I would still obviously put Steph over him just because of how obviously tougher today's competition is, how much, things go into, just being a scorer now is much more broad than what Jerry West had back in the day. But man, Jerry West making the top 10, it's obviously arguable, but I don't know if he would make mine. That's a very good one though. I know Jerry West is just an absolute, Laker legend for sure. Very sucky that what happened to him, not really making him the biggest sort of championship winner, obviously not being able to win them all. Oh man. These are all very controversial. At number 8 is also a player that you could argue at quite possibly being maybe the greatest scorer of all time. Who knows? But oh my goodness. We have here number 8, James Harden. Oh my. Obviously James Harden having, the typical argument of, oh, he's just, a foul guy, oh, he flops, he does this, he does that. James Harden, offensively, is one of the most gifted players, quite possibly of all time, and if you just turn that into just putting the ball in the basket, I mean, he can do it all. He's a great driver, he can shoot, threes with the best of them, create his own shot, create for others. Like, James Harden is such a complete player all around on the offensive end. It's just, you could quite, obviously, argue him as being the most gifted offensive player of all time because he just does everything super good. Man, that's so tough. Obviously, I think he is a better offensive player than Jerry West. Steph Curry, that's a very tough argument because, again, if you just look at what they do, obviously they're very comparable, but, obviously Steph is a better shooter, but maybe Harden's a better, driver to the rim, and then there's this and that. Man, that is so crazy. Jeez. I'm very interested to see where they rank other players above these two guys, because these two guys, in my opinion, could arguably be top 5, you know what I mean? And we're not even in top 5 yet. That's so crazy. Let's see, let's do pen. Hopefully this pen still has some ink left in it, we shall see. Oh yeah, we do. We have some magic in this pen still. At number 7. Oh my god, guys, I maybe I shouldn't do this list. Like I said, it's so crazy how people get paid, like, as a real job to write these articles, and this is just wrong. I will be doing a list on my own, don't get me wrong, but ay caramba. Okay, at number 7. We are already talking about the 7-foot demigod, coming straight out of 2K, Kevin Durant. Now again, not my list. Kevin Durant is a 7-foot player who plays like the best guard in the NBA, you know what I mean? Like, he can defend the rim, but also have the ball control as some of the best ball control players in the NBA. Like, he is so gifted, not only on offense, but on defense. obviously seen him, lead the league in scoring, being MVP about it. Thunder Durant is absolutely crazy. Even on a team of crazy talent like the Golden State Warriors, he's still the go-to option with an already MVP caliber player like Steph Curry. He's still the best offensive player, hands down. This is dumb. Kevin Durant is way better than this. I'm sorry I even have to write this down. But then again, like I said, I like doing another person's list first because it gives me more of an idea and you an idea of what sort of the experts are looking at when they sort of rank these things. But as of right now, they're wrong. Wow, okay, number 6 is actually pretty interesting. Again, a player when I think, right off rip of the top 10, maybe not coming to my mind. Same thing with like Jerry West, very quickly, but it's definitely a very good name, very arguable name. And that is Allen Iverson. Yes, the answer himself. Now, I love Allen Iverson, one of the best and most popular players of all time. So many players, just in today's NBA, have modeled and looked up to Allen Iverson as a player. But if you compare Allen Iverson as a scorer to a 7-foot player like Kevin Durant, who can basically do all of the same things as Allen Iverson can do, but he's 7 foot, he's 2 inches taller, 2 feet taller than Allen Iverson. I still don't see how Kevin Durant's only listed at 7, but Allen Iverson, again, if you're just talking about scoring, is a pound for pound, one of the best of all time for sure. Ball control, finishing at the rim, shooting ability, creating his own shots. He is just an absolute dog. Obviously, I think he did lead the league in scoring for a year or so, winning an MVP as well, leading one of the most trash NBA teams to the finals. I know we all talk about LeBron doing it back in 2006, 7, one of those years, with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Allen Iverson did the same thing with the Philadelphia 76ers, going up against the absolute crazy beast of LA Laker Nation. But that's totally crazy. And when it comes to just being a scorer, like I said, just putting the ball in the basket, I do actually agree with him being on this list. Now, if we're talking about a complete player, all-around offensive game, I mean, of course, KD, James Harden, Steph Curry, I think those guys are definitely better as an all-around offensive player. But if we're just talking about, again, putting the ball in the basket, Allen Iverson is definitely one of the best, for sure, for sure. Let's see if I can fit this boy's name on here even. That might give it away right now, but we'll see. Top 5. Hopefully you guys can see that. We have here, I might need to go a little, might need to angle a little bit. A-B, wait, yeah, D, well, I know how to spell. J, I think it's double B, right? Yep. Sometimes I spell it double A, and it's just completely wrong. God, that was so close. I'm so sorry. So obviously, with a lot of us knowing already the type of scorer Kareem is, definitely as a big man, probably the best of all time. You can argue Hakeem with that. If you're talking about scoring-wise, that's very arguable, but dude, Kareem was just an unstoppable player, playing in a great era of big basketball, and was just definitely hands down the best player in the league for many years, for sure, especially in his Milwaukee Bucks days, that's for sure. Even if, if we're going back to even, college days, Kareem obviously being the greatest college basketball player of all time, at least in my opinion, hands down, I think he has to be top 5. Like, he is the greatest scorer, record-wise, statistically, in NBA history. He also holds the league's, I think he's tied with Michael for the most MVPs, right, or something like that. He has 6 MVPs. I think he actually has the most. shot. You have Kareem known for the skyhook. I mean, if you have a thing that you're known for, it's just, it adds on to the career and legacy and legend of that player. And dude, Kareem is just an absolute god. Definitely during that time for sure. We up at number 4 now. Top 4. Oh, sorry, I just realized I just used this on that one. When I redo little sounds for you guys. Oh, wow. That is interesting. Okay. I do think this guy belongs on the list, but we will discuss about where he's placed, but yeah, B-L, oh, no, A-I-N, Wilt Chamberlain. Wow, okay, so, basically, everything I just said about Kareem, you can literally apply that to Wilt Chamberlain, being one of the best big men during his time, being an unstoppable player, being a player who sort of changed the league, this and that. Wilt is definitely the same sort of style of player that Kareem was, for sure. Sure, Wilt never really got the time to play on, great teams like a Bill Russell or a Kareem did throughout their careers, but Wilt by himself was just so completely dominant. It was actually insane. It says here, in each of his first 7 NBA seasons, Wilt Chamberlain led the league in scoring. As a rookie, through the first 7 years of his career, he led the league in scoring. He is just, we obviously talk about Shaq being the most dominant player in NBA history. I think Wilt is definitely, maybe 1B to that conversation you should have when talking about that. This guy was posting up multiple 40-point games. He has 118. He has 118 40-point games in his career. That is just an absolute feast for points, man. And if we're talking about, two-way players, all-around offensive game, like rebounding, blocking, everything like that, the way he played, Wilt was just such a dominant player. I do think he obviously does, belong on the list. But over Kareem, that gets very interesting. At their peaks, they were both very different. Maybe you could argue Wilt for a peak, but longevity-wise, that's where you gotta give it to Kareem, obviously. But anyways, at number 3, oh god. Oh guys, I don't know if he even belongs on this list, and I love this guy. Oh man, well, yep. They have top 3 all time on this list. LeBron James. And you guys know me, if you've been watching my channel for X amount of years, I love LeBron. He is one of my favorite players of all time. I always root for him. But I maybe don't think he deserves to be on this list, because if you guys know LeBron's game, he's not a scorer. Can he score? Yes. Can he score with the best of them in the league? Absolutely. But like with all these other guys, scoring is their best asset. For LeBron, that's not even his best asset. And even if you go to his prime, it wasn't even his second best. Obviously passing is LeBron's first, but if you go back to Miami LeBron days, dude, his defense was absolutely insane back then. That's where, I don't know if he deserves to be on this list, especially over guys like, Kevin Durant, Kareem. I don't believe this placement, and he might not even arguably be top 10 all time. That's super crazy. I think, again, when you think longevity-wise, of course, he makes a very good sort of stake in the claim of being a great scorer. Obviously on track to actually getting a scoring record statistically at number 1. I think he's probably going to be a couple years off, but we'll have to see. But I think as of right now, he is number 3 on the list all time, 3 or 4, I think. So, and it's not even his best asset. So I think longevity-wise, I think that's really helping his career. But man, I don't even know, like, in his prime, if he's really better than any of the other guys in their primes. Maybe Jerry West, obviously, but it's so crazy. And also, it's just such a different style from all the other guys, even these big men, because LeBron was a rim running, blow by, using his strength and his speed is just different beast of talent that he would use to score, was just insane. And all these other guys are very flashy style of players, and these guys are obviously big men in the post. LeBron was just a dominant beast of his own, and it was really fun to watch for sure. But man, that's very tough to have him already so high on this list. That's crazy. Okay. Number 2. Let's see who we got at number 2. I can assume, yeah. Wow, this is a really good player. Okay. At number 2, obviously a GOAT as well. We have Kobe Bean Bryant. And we were just talking about, Wilt's record. Kobe is number 2 on our list, getting 81 points. Just might be one of the best all-around basketball players of all time, like scoring consistently, defending consistently, one of the greatest leaders in sports history. Just totally carried a franchise for so many years, just means so much to the game, and I think also sort of help, inspire a lot of players. We talk about LeBron a lot, and players like Michael Jordan. I think Kobe in himself is a very inspirational player. Just the way he scored the ball was just so fun to watch. Even being my first ever, favorite player, Kobe was just an absolute dog on offense for sure. Could score with the best of them from 3-point shooting, mid-range shots, getting to the basket. Absolutely insane athleticism back in his heyday, the Froby days. Could do it all for sure. Top 3, that's a very good spot for sure. But at number 1, we obviously have a player who's probably ranked number 1 in a lot of different things when it comes to basketball, and that is Sir Michael Jordan. And even then, that's very arguable. I mean, Michael Jordan, obviously, being the GOAT, you gotta score points. And he, again, with the best of them, one of the best at all time doing it. One of the most clutch players of all time. Same thing with Kobe. Obviously, clutchness is a very big thing. Post-game, immaculate. We always talk about big men being some of the best post players. I think Michael Jordan is arguably one of the best post players in NBA history. That's for sure. Getting to the rim, easily one of the best of all time. Mid-range shooters, easily one of the best of all time. The only thing you could really nag on him, though, is his 3-point shot, and that's where the argument of Michael Jordan being the best scorer of all time gets very choppy. Because I obviously know, and we all, if you're watching this right now, hopefully you would know that Kobe Bryant was definitely a better 3-point shooter than Michael Jordan was. But does that make Kobe a better scorer all time than Jordan? Maybe. That's a very tough question. I do like Michael Jordan being top 3. I think that's very undoubtedly for a fact. Yes. But being number 1, again, it's very arguable because his 3-point shooting was one of those things where it's very iffy. That's for sure. And I'm sorry to leave it off on sort of a dry note like that, like sort of an iffy pick, but I love Michael Jordan. He's one of the best of all time, but he definitely had flaws in his offensive game that he didn't need to improve on because what he did already worked so well. Obviously being that's unfair. That's unfair for sure. For me personally, if you asked me who I think the best scorer in NBA history was, man, that's really tough. I do think, like, if my life was on the line, you know what I mean? I needed like a guy to just go off. Like, I think Kobe might be, at least to me in my eyes, the greatest player to put the ball in the basket at a consistent level for sure. So I might actually have Kobe number one if it was me. I also think Kevin Durant needs to be way higher. You can say, it's too early to tell, it's too this, it's too that. I don't care. The dude is 7 feet tall and can play like Allen Iverson, you know what I mean? Like, I think Kevin Durant needs to be a lot higher. I think LeBron needs to be way lower. And Jerry West, I don't know. I think Karl Malone obviously maybe needs to be on this list, but then again, Karl Malone is really only on that sort of scoring level because he had such a great, smart point guard playing alongside him, playing that insane pick and roll game for hundreds of times in a game. So I mean, that's why Karl Malone doesn't need to be on this list, but that's interesting. But yeah, I think Kobe would be one for me. I think Kevin Durant would be higher. Kevin Durant might actually be top 3 for me, just for how good he is. Then maybe Michael 2. I would flip Kareem and Wilt. I actually do really like Wilt Chamberlain's game, but again, career-wise, longevity-wise, meaningfulness to the game, I think Kareem I would put over Wilt. Man, I think Steph might actually be 6. I love Allen Iverson, but I might actually even flip, those two guys for sure. I think Steph's 3-point shooting is just, and how good he is, even everywhere else in this game, like free throw shooting and just shooting the ball anywhere on the court. I think Steph for sure has to be up higher. I think Harden for sure can be like 7. Man. Yeah, and then maybe you can just move LeBron back down here and Jerry West being number 10. I think that it's safe. I'm trying to think of other players I could put on this list over Jerry West, but I actually do really like Jerry West being on this list. Like, again, we could talk about, Larry Bird, even players like Elgin Baylor, but man, Jerry West is just known for being a great scorer, and I think top 10, he can be top 10. I think that's totally fine. But yeah, I think that's it for me, guys. Let me know down in the comments your favorite scorer, your number 1 scorer, the best scorer in your opinion. Either one of those will be fine. And yeah, this was a lot of fun. Make sure you comment that. Make sure you like the video if you do like the video, and also obviously subscribe to the channel. I will very, 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 very much appreciate it a lot. And yeah, I will see you guys again